Hello everyone, I'm Dapher, David Fernando, and this is one more edition of Answer My Questions with Dapher. With me is Daniel, my technician Daniel is someone who's been working with me, and Daniel is also an English teacher, a translator. Well, he said it's not a translator yet, although he did the course. Yes, Daniel. Yeah. So Daniel is an English teacher, a teacher trainer. Daniel has got a degree in English language teaching methodology. Where? From ESED. Yes. Really, Daniel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's true.
Are we really on, Daniel?
Yes, you are.
Good. Depression. What is depression? Do you have a friend who's going through this problem? Have you ever been through this? Have you ever been depressed? What is depression? According to Cambridge Dictionary, depression is the state of feeling very unhappy and without hope for the future. The same dictionary says that depression is a mental illness in which a person is very unhappy and anxious. Let's say the person is worried and nervous. So this person is unhappy and anxious for long periods and cannot have a normal life during these periods. This is what Cambridge Dictionary says about about depression, not dictionary. Yes. So that's what Cambridge Dictionary says about depression. My guest for today's edition is Mário Vicente or Vicente?
Vicente.
I want to say my guest for today's edition is Mário Vicente, but let me say Mário Vicente, who is not an English teacher. He has never taught English. Have you ever taught English? No. He has never taught English, but he speaks English, and he is a health
Clinical psychologist.
Excuse me?
Clinical psychologist.
Yeah, he is, I want to say, yes, he is a clinical psychologist. So he'll be here answering questions not only on depression, but on clinical psychology and also some other issues. Mário Vicente, welcome to Answer My Questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Teacher Dapher.
I told you not to call me teacher, please. Thank you so much, Dapher, for the invitation.
Okay, thanks so much for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here. And I want also to greet Mr. Daniel, or Teacher Daniel.
You will call everybody teacher.
And also for those who are watching us now, and for those who will be watching this video after. I'm very happy and very honored to be here to share, because sharing knowledge, me as a clinical psychologist, I think is my duty. And then it will be a big honor, and I hope, as English is a tough language to be spoken, and this place, Ask My Question place, as being a place where masters in English have been met. I hope, I hope in the hands of this live you can get some knowledges I'll be sharing with you. I think just to start, may I keep on? What you think?
No, you can keep talking.
Okay.
You can say who you are.
Yes, I'd like to start from the point that most of the times we misunderstand. We try to mix sometimes what depression is and what sadness is. And then I think this is the main point where we have to start talking about depression. Depression is not sadness. When we talk about sadness, we talk about an emotional expressions. And then what is emotional expression? According to one of behavior psychologists called by Watson, he used to say that no one learns how to be sad. No one learns how to be happy. No one learns how to be scared or fear about something. I mean, we all born with some state of mind to protect us, and then that state of mind to protect us we call emotional expressions. I mean, whenever we face dangers or we let's suppose happy about an event that has happened, it's very common that we have to use emotional expression as a way to communicate with others. And then it has been common also nowadays, people trying to fight against sadness. I mean, for example, whenever you see someone sad, perhaps you have already said to that person not to be sad. You say, come on, be happy. And then the question is, when you say to someone not to be sad, you probably you're saying to that person so that that emotional expression may be hidden. And then if this emotional expression that is sadness be hidden, it will be after perhaps 1 or 2 months or after a year, it will bring some a mental problem to that person. And then it's very important that we as a human being, we have to show our emotional problems or our emotional expressions. It's very human. I mean, we as a human, what makes us as truly human beings is our emotional expression. And then it's very simple, and it's very, I mean, it's we must have expectations that whenever we have any event that brings us joy, we have to be happy. Whenever there is something that put our life in danger, we must fear about that event. Whenever something bad, let's suppose you have lost someone very special, what socially is expected is not to see you happy, is that you be sad. But we also see that the length of emotional expressions is too short. I mean, if something bad has occurred with you, let's suppose in the morning, what is expected is that you don't be sad for a whole day. Why? Because emotional expressions, they have to replace the feelings, okay? I mean, emotional expressions compared to feelings, feelings they take a little bit longer compared to emotional expressions. If somebody, for instance, come to you and say something that, let's suppose, is a joke, you'll be smiling, but of course, you won't keep on smiling all day. Let's suppose 2 days, 3 days. It's just to say that emotional expressions, they have too short as a length. So when we come to depression, in psychology, we know that this expression has many, I mean, there are so many meanings about depression. And then as a psychologist, I could say that depression has so much to say and nothing to say. It's not a philosophical way to say. It's just to say that there are so many ways to look at depression, this expression. Let's suppose in an economic sector, you're selling a business and no one is buying it. So you can say this business is depressed because no one is buying it. So let's suppose you have no money. Then you can say my pocket is depressed or depressed because you have no money. And then when we come to psychology, there is a subject called by psychopathology. Psychopathology is a subject that studies abnormal mind functions as well as behavior. I mean, we have behavior, and the psychology in overall studies the minds and the human behavior. And so, whenever you misbehaving or you have got an mental suffering inside, for instance, cognitive area, let's suppose in the memory, perception, attention, you have got some problems inside. So these contents are going to be studied inside what we call psychopathology. And then psychopathology talks mainly about the human suffering, I mean mental suffering. It's just to say that we don't say depression, we say depression disorder. Why depression disorder? It's in a clinical psychology or in psychology as a science in overall. Depression disorder, because we understand that depression disorder is a combination of signs and symptoms. It's just like any other disease. To be called disease, we have to see the combinations of signs and symptoms. It means depressions, it's an expression that's used in overall, but when we come in a mental health or in psychology, we have always to say depression disorder. And then here, I'm going to share with you some signs and symptoms of depression. So, there are some people that isolate themselves. This is a kind of signs, okay? Isolate themselves. When I say isolate themselves, sometimes people tend to be alone. It's very, very normal that you be alone sometimes. It's very normal. But we have to pay attention to the length. How long are you going to be alone? How long, for instance, people around you are going to invite you and you are not allowed to be in touch with others. Okay? Some people, they tend to sleep too much, while others are going to experiment insomnia. And while some also eat too much, and other people, I mean, they don't eat too much. And at this point of eating too much, we talk about appetite, of course. Some people, and of course we have seen some people that come across to us and they tell us like, I'm facing an emotional or psychological conflict, but sometimes we don't agree, we don't accept. We say, come on, so you're facing a psychological conflict, but your body seems like so well, you're getting fat, so you're good, you have a good life. So it means sometimes when we see somebody depressed, we can see his body like, so the one is getting fat. So he's getting fat not because he's healthy. He's getting fat because his body responds to that conflict in a different way compared to other people. When we talk about morphopsychology is an area in mental health that starts the way we respond to the conflicts about the nature, the nature environment. And then we see that if a two person or two guys, for instance, are facing the same emotional problem, they are going to react in a different ways. Once one may be skinny, other is going to be fat. So we have a different way to react in some or in the same mental or psychological conflicts. And it's a nice point to be discussed because sometimes we judge people. Sometimes we don't understand. We say, no, this guy must be lying to us. And then we must be open because whenever a depressed person seems not being understood, he will be hiding himself. He will see like there is no place so that he can be open to others so that he must be helped. And then we must understand and not judging those people. And we also find those depressed people, who are facing depression disorder, that sometimes let's suppose they are working, they are studying. So depression disorder is going to affect their lives negatively. It means their development at these two areas where they interact daily is going to be affected. So some are going to give up from working while others are going to give up from studying. We also find some people that when they are depressed, they have problems or difficulties to take care about themselves. Let's suppose simple activities. To wake up is so hard. To take a bath is so hard. Even to wash a face is so hard. So those common activities, when faced by a depressed person, are hard activities. And this person, when they are around a family that don't understand them, family can say, no, you must be lazy. So come on, wake up, do something. Go out. Go to see your friends, you know. Why? Because families sometimes don't understand. And this is a key point where psychologists or mental health professionals in overall have to come and to talk to everyone, have to share their knowledges. And this is one of the reasons why I'm here today, just to clarify some knowledges about depression disorder. Of course, we also find some cognitive changes. When I say cognitive changes, it means we have a memory, we have a perception, we have attention, and then depressed person, their perception changes. I mean, the way they look at themselves change, because depression, as it said, it's a loss of hope, it's lack of meaning for life. Most of people, when they look at themselves, they feel down. I mean, their self-esteem changes also. If you come and you praise someone like, oh, you're beautiful today, so you're pretty, so you dressed well, so a person is going always to see in a negative perspective. Any positive words that you tell to a depressed person is always going to see it in another way, in a negative way. And there are so many causes of depression disorder. And there are some people that sometimes say that depression is a disease. A depression is not a disease. It's not a mental disease. Because whenever we talk about mental disease, we're saying that the only cause or the only reason of depression disorder is organic. Okay? So when we come to depression disorder, we have so many factors. We have a social factors, we have a psychological factors, and of course we have organic factors. When we come to organic factors, it's a case to say that our behaviors and our states of minds, they have organic explanation, and I'm going to clarify that. If you are angry, if you feel yourself like depressed, if you scared about something, all those emotional expressions and other states of minds as well as behavior, they have an organic basis. When we come to depression disorder, what we find is that there are two main components, which are the two neurotransmitters. What are neurotransmitters? Are chemical substances that our brain, that are found in our brain. And we have a serotonin and we have a dopamine. These two neurotransmitters, they are very important to balance our states, for instance, our humor. Okay, let's suppose you said. In the case of deep sadness, that is one of the signs also of depression, what we see is that the levels or the volumes of these two neurotransmitters are low. It means that sometimes you don't understand yourself why you're depressed, because it's organic, okay? It's an organic factor. And then because in overall, we tend to be sad or we tend to be depressed when something bad or negative event has occurred outside. But when we come to this organic base, let's suppose in the morning you wake up, so you feel yourself down. So you ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? And even the people around you are going to ask, why are you feeling this way? You know, it's like you don't understand why you're feeling that way. And the reason why, most of the people around you might come and say, come on, what's wrong with you? You know, because they don't understand. You know, and we also see that in this case, psychologists, they don't have too much to do. In this case, as we're talking about organic basis of depression disorder, we have to call the assistance of a psychiatrist. Who is a psychiatrist? He's a doctor in medicine that after taking 5 or 6 years in a medicine course or graduation, he takes perhaps 2 or 3 years or 4 years in a psychiatry as an area in medicine. So, as a psychologist, they don't prescribe medicines. Doctors in medicine, psychiatrists, they are the ones that sometimes psychologists, they have to be in touch with so that they can also help patients, okay, or clients. And it's a very, very, very important. It means that when you feel yourself depressed or yourself down, you cannot say, no, perhaps there is a black magic around, perhaps there is a spiritual matter that is, causing this state of mind. It's just a way of, it's important to explain this way. And of course, we have also some psychological factors, or we can call psychological conflicts. Let's suppose you were abused. We talk about sexual abuse in childhood. Let's suppose you broke a relationship with your girl, with your wife. You got divorced with someone, and then it's very common that sometimes, perhaps, okay, it's not normal, but perhaps you're going also to face. It's probably that you can face depression disorder, but it is not the only reason. We also see that nowadays most of the families they are not connected. Inside the family's house, we see that sometimes child are eating in a corner. They don't share the same table. Father is eating another place, mother either, And then we have to see that affections. It's important to fortify. It's important to get stronger our bonds of affections, and the families are called to try to give a hand on that issue. Because whenever a child, let's suppose he went to school, he's suffering from bullying or something else, something wrong is occurring with him, and he comes home. Father doesn't have a time to talk to him, even mother, and there's no place so that he can be open, and then he can step by step develop a depression disorder. And we also see those people that have lost someone very important. We're talking about death, okay? And in this case, it's important to clarify that there's a big difference or a huge difference of grief, okay? What we call by mourning. It's like if you lost someone died, for instance, 1 month or 2 months, you feel yourself like down, you feel depressed. It's common. You have to face this process of grief, okay? It's not a depression. And then let's suppose after three months, after 4 months, you keep feeling that way. And then perhaps you are starting facing or starting developing depression disorder, okay? But it's very also important that the families that are around this person that has lost someone important, they have to pay attention, they have to follow, okay, the steps, okay? It's very important. Some of the things I didn't say is that inside the cognitive perspective, depressed person sometimes they have got suicidal ideas. Okay, they tend to see that the only way to end the mental suffering is end their lives. And some people, they cut themselves. They use blades. They use blade. Other they take tablets, you know, I mean medicines. They take so just to end their lives. And one of the point that is important to clarify is, why is it so difficult to see when someone is depressed? Why? Sometimes we just heard that a person, like our friends or someone special, ended his life. And then why? Sometimes we get a video from him 2 or 3 days, 1 or 2 weeks ago. We see him or she happy, you know, laughing. And then we ask ourselves, so why? If at this time, let's suppose yesterday he was so happy, how come today he ended his life?
Committed a suicide.
Yeah, he committed a suicide. Why? You know, that is to say that perhaps people that were around him, they didn't pay attention enough. Because when we talk about emotional expression, as I said before, emotional expression in case of length, they are too short. And then in this case, when we talk about smiling, there are fake smiling. And fake smiling is that a person himself, when he's smiling, you see that it's not natural. True smiling take a little bit longer. I mean, the length is little bit longer compared to fake smiling. And then if you are a friend or someone that you close to other, you have to pay attention. And then it's difficult to see because nowadays we don't have a time to look at someone's eyes, to look at someone's face. Everyone is just worried to get rice, to survive. Mainly in our Luanda, our country, Angola, we have many people that every time are fighting for life. And then this process of fighting for life sometimes don't allow us to get closer, to have a closer relationship with others, And then this is one of the case that sometimes we don't pay attention. Even sometimes psychologists, they have a family members that commit suicide, and sometimes they ask themselves, they judge themselves. How come I'm a psychologist, but I couldn't pay attention? I couldn't I could help my family member. So there are so many cases that sometimes we have to understand, we have to pay attention. At this point, we have to be close to others. This is a very important.
Doctor.
Yes.
Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
You're a doctor, no? Yes. We know that you're a clinical psychologist. Yes?
Yes.
Why committing suicide is the first thing that people going through this think, the first thing to do?
Okay.
Why committing suicide is the first thing that people who are depressed decide to do?
Well, committing suicide is not the first. I mean,
Okay.
when we see someone or we heard a history about someone who has committed suicide, we see that is the last level.
Oh, okay.
The last level of depression.
Okay.
Because depression has got.
So committing suicide is not the first thing.
It's not the first. Because
All right.
at the first time we have ideas, suicidal ideas.
Okay.
A person just think, I want to end my life. I want to end my. Those are just ideas.
The negative
Negative ideas.
Negative ideas.
Of course, like I want, like I'm a loser. I'm worth nothing, so I have to end my life. And then sometimes people try to share these ideas with a family member, someone important. But sometimes people don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
They say, no, don't think about it. Don't think about it. It's better you pray, do something, go make some exercise, Yeah, but if you listen to someone saying those words that I worth nothing and better end my life, those are the key point. That is a chance that you have that is a chance that you have so that a person can be saved.
Okay.
That's because if you don't pay attention, if you don't save him at that time, he's going to try to end his life.
Okay.
Yes. And then we have, as I said, depression. There are so many kinds of depression, but in the case of levels, we have 3 levels. We have the first level that it's called like light, little bit soft. A person doesn't have those suicidal idea, doesn't have, he doesn't try to end his life at this first level. At the second, he tried, but there's ideas. There's ideas and there's behave of trying to end his life are not. They don't come very often. But when we come to severe, that is the last stage of depression. Sometimes a depressed people is going to listen voice. He hear voice saying like, "Kill yourself, kill yourself," and then like, so you are a loser. You're worth nothing. So he hear inside his brain those voices, and then sometimes he has a difficulty also to control those voices. And then at this point, it's important that that person must be taken to hospital, so that psychiatrists and also psychologists, they may help him. And then we cannot wait a person saying, "I want to end my life," to save him.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to fight for. We have to prevent. That's one of the most important thing. And we have another social case or social factor that I didn't say before. That is poverty. Depression is very common for those poor people. Why? Because poor people, they still fight to get food. They still fight to get something to eat. You know, if we see in our country, we're still fighting for rice, you know, basic needs, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's a shame, of course, but that is to say that our minds or our body, you know, we have a body here, and that this body needs a good food. You have to eat well so that you can have also a mental health. If you someone that don't eat well, you might have during your sleep you might have a nightmare. You know, if you don't eat well, you might experience sometimes bad feelings. You may feel sometimes down because, as I said before, dopamine and serotonin, those 2 neurotransmitters, they are so important in the case of balance our humor. Humor is our state of being or our state of feeling. And then the components of those neurotransmitters are proteins, you know, and the proteins comes from food. And then all those people that just eat to survive, they can face not at the time they are eating, but according to the time they may face depression disorder. And then this is one of the cases. And in our country, we have so many unemployed people. And most of unemployed people or jobless people are young, you know. And then when we talk about depression, one of the key points is that a person has difficulty to achieve his goal. Everyone, that is common, everyone must have a dream to reach. And then when we come to depression disorder, we find those people that have fighting for so long to accomplish a goal. And then as they are not achieving, sometimes they may get depressed. And then it's a key point to say that
I don't want to be depressed. I drink beers. This is Reynaldo Battaglia.
Good. Okay. Let me say that whenever we're facing a mental problem or a psychological problems, we have so many ways to escape from it. And then most of the people that escape from mental health or mental problems, they drink beer, you know? And we just see that it's very common to see people drinking on the street. It's very simple. We see that as a simple stuff. That's not the simple stuff. Most of those people who are drinking, they might have some emotional problems. And the only way they have to face those emotional problems is drinking. Why drinking? And why they keep drinking beers? Okay, this is one of the things Ronaldo said. Ronaldo.
Well, he said that he doesn't want to be depressed. He drinks beer.
He drinks beer. So, drinking beer is a way to escape from some emotional problems. So we have to face in a positive way. Okay, and that's to say that sometimes people feel themselves like. Well, you know, they self like a little bit normal, socially normal if they drink. If they feel like, okay, I can face this problem. But the only way and the positive or the healthy way to solve any emotional problems or any problem is not drinking. Because beers, alcohol, has got a chemical substance. This chemical substance, this is studied in behavior psychology. Okay, behavior psychology is a science in psychology that helps us understand why sometimes we keep doing the same thing, or why sometimes we keep behaving the same way. Why most of the people keep drinking? You know why? And then in behavior psychology, there is a saying that says that sometimes there are some reinforcement. Let's suppose that while you drink, you feel yourself like understood. You feel yourself like, okay, when I drink, my friends are there for me. They really understand me. Okay, they stay with me. So it means you drink not for beer itself, but you drink to get that reinforcement that you stay with your friends. But of course, you can stay with your friends. But why don't you drink? Why don't you change a drink? You could change it to another drink, and then you just have a difficulty to change it because there is a chemical substance in alcohol that is like blocking you not to stop drinking. You know, and then let me just finish saying that fighting for depression disorder is not a task that belongs to us as a population. Okay, depression disorder is also a task for those people who lead our country. Okay, governors in overall. Okay, let's suppose governments that don't create job policies. Job policies for youth, for his population. What is expected is that this population are not going to be happy. You know, what is expected is that that population is going to face so many mental problems. Of course, we're here today to talk about depression, but depression itself as a mental disorder hides another mental disorder. Sometimes depression as a mental disorder is just a way to say that there are so many other problems that the population are facing. And then I think I'll be...
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have
Daniel,
another thing to say.
Of course, you are here to.
Of course.
Not only to answer our questions, but to talk about depression and mental illness, if it's possible. Yes, because you are not, as I said, you are not only here to answer questions.
Of course.
But to talk. For example, I think you've spoken something like. Okay, it's been 35 minutes since we started the podcast, but I think that I have only asked one or two questions.
Yes, sir.
No one else has asked any questions.
Yes.
So you were talking about your field.
Of course, my field.
Let me just say hi to Zaid Sebo, who is viewing us from Mozambique.
Okay.
And we have Carlos Chiva viewing us from Gaza, Mozambique too. And we have our viewers like Mr. Candido, Teacher Candido, who is, we call him the number one, the father of questions, but we also call him as, he is Answer My Questions Godfather.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he is always there trying to back us up, trying to give some, trying to give us some advice,
Okay.
like what we have to do
Yes.
in case the guest is not available. Yes,
Okay.
we always have to find something. So
Okay.
our godfather is on the other side, and Reynaldo, I'm not going to read the last name. Is it Donna Bruzi or Brazi? But I think it's Bruzi. Reynaldo Battaglia Donna Bruzi. Well, I invited Reynaldo this week to see if he could join us, but he said yes. He said thanks for your invitation, but I will not make it because of my job. I'm very busy, so I can't make it. But thank you for everything that you and your team, let's say, what you've been doing. So Daniel, regards from Reynaldo. And Simon Souza Bright, viewing us from Kakwako.
Okay.
Oh, Charles Titosi. We have Carlos Jiva, yes, from Mozambique. Actually, right now there are 3 people viewing us from Mozambique. Charles Titosi. He says, I'm depressed.
Okay.
I'm depressed. My team got eliminated recently.
You talk about Barcelona.
Barcelona, yes. Actually,
so sorry about.
Yes, Charles is someone who sometimes, is always on the other side, viewing us and commenting on what we've been posting.
Yes.
And I posted something on Barcelona and he didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, so he sent me a PM.
Yes.
A private message saying that no, you've been doing a great job, but your page is like a church.
Okay.
Where you are the pastor.
Okay.
So you cannot, and when in a church, you find people from different political parties.
Okay.
So you can't talk about a certain party. You can't talk about good things like bad things about the ruling party.
Of course.
You can't talk about bad things about UNITA because you don't know how many members of UNITA are in the church.
Yes.
So what you have to do is to preach your message.
Yes.
Just preach the message of God.
That's right.
And what you have to do in your page is you don't have to talk about bad things about. You can talk about football.
Yes.
Football itself.
Yeah, itself.
But don't try to be like I'm going to talk about
like a judging.
Things against Barcelona.
Yes.
Things against Manchester City. Things against Real Madrid, because you don't know who some of the followers of your page are.
Yes.
Yeah. So his idea was not his idea. His advice was really interesting, and I had to delete the post.
Of course.
Because we are here because of them.
Of course.
Both Daniel and I, including you.
Yes.
The page, both the page and also Answer My Question is here because of them.
Of course.
If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here.
Of course.
So we have to respect everyone.
Yes.
Even when we started, now how many people are viewing us? Daniel, how many people are viewing us?
15.
There are 15. Yes,
wow.
There are 15 people
Hello,
viewing
guys.
us. When we started our edition today, there was 17 now. There was just one person viewing us.
Okay.
But we didn't have to stop. And I think this one person was Daniel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't have to stop.
Yes.
Because Daniel is there.
Okay.
So we have to talk.
Yes.
Okay, so Mario. Hello, Mario. Mario Geronimo is viewing us from Cape Town, South Africa.
Wow,
Hi there,
amazing.
I'm tuned now. Warm hugs for you all. Hey, Mario. Euclides Kinanga.
Okay.
Euclides is an English teacher. He has got his Daniel's, not Daniel's former classmate, but they've been to the same Institute, Luanda Higher Institute, yes? Luanda
Yeah.
is been to ESET. Yeah, this is my first time to be connected. Really? Euclides. Okay. This is my first time to be connected. Congratulations to you all. Thank you, Euclides. Yeah, so Euclides Kinanga is an English teacher and he's got a degree in English language teaching methodology.
Wow.
We are 17 viewers. Yes, this is Daniel Lambuta Buta. Daniel Lambuta Buta, not you, Daniel, you are Daniel Salamao. Yes, Daniel Lambuta is Amon from Kakwako. Yes, Esmeraldo. Daniel Lambuta is a very good friend of mine. We met in 2015 in Wish. And he is an English teacher, a teacher trainer, and he has, not I think, but he has one of the #1 schools in Wish.
Okay.
And he's the one who has been producing. Oh, where is it? You saw me wearing answer my questions.
Yes, I saw. I
T-shirt.
saw. Yes.
Yes. So it came from Wish.
Wow.
We are good friends, but I had to pay because that's business.
Of course, that's a business.
Yeah.
Business
So
is business.
next time,
Principle.
if I talk about Mbuta school, hey Mbuta, you have to pay me.
It's a pay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So my cousin confessed that he was depressed. He told me that he was healed by not some medicine, but by words. Renudo Battalius.
By words?
Yes.
Words.
My cousin confessed that he was depressed.
Yes.
And he told me that he was healed by not some medicine, but by words.
Okay.
My question is, how important are positive words
Yes.
when you are talking to someone that is depressed?
Yeah.
Because Renudo said that his cousin got healed not by medicine,
Yes.
but by words.
Yes.
If you as a clinical psychologist,
Yes, yes.
if someone is depressed, goes after you,
Yes.
he needs your service.
Yes.
How important do you think words are? And how do we have to be? How should we, even we, the ones that are not psychologists?
Yes.
How selective should we be?
Yes, I want to say something important first. Is about Barcelona. I think the one was just sad, not depressed, because sadness is something and depression is something more serious. Okay, depression is a mental disorder, and while sadness is an emotional expression. Okay, yeah. So. Words.
So Charles Titosi was not depressed. He was sad.
Of course, he was sad,
because
not depressed.
Because his team was smashed.
Yes,
at
of
home.
course, of course.
Oh, Charles.
And then words are important in the case of depression. I mean, to healing depression, are important. Why? I mean, positive words are important. Why? We see, let me just try to give some examples here. There are some houses, I'll be listening, mothers saying to small boys like, shut up, so you nothing, stupid,
silly boy, silly girl.
So all those words are going to be seen as a true words. I mean, according to what the ego is like, where the self exists, the ego, a person is going to develop his emotional expressions or his mental states, thinking that all those words that mother said to him are true. And it means whenever a person tries to say a positive word, as he has received those negative words from someone very important, it can be father or mother, auntie, someone very important to him, he's going to say, no, what my mother, what my auntie, what my uncle has told me before is what I am. And then, of course, we have to use a positive way very often. It's just like to block those negative words. And then, of course, it brings also the role of psychologists. And then the question here is, what psychologists exactly do in these cases? What is their role, psychologists? Well, we as a psychologist, when someone look after us, what we do is, first of all, we have to know the history, the past of the patient or the person that is in front of us. Why his history is important? His history is important to understand the person himself, in overall or in general. And we need to know when this depression disorder started. We need to know how the signs and symptoms of this depression are shown. We need to know how this depression disorder affects negatively the person, and how the person interacts with others. It's the key point. And of course, sometimes we make what we call psychological assessment. We have got some psychological tests that we have to apply just to measure the level of depression of that person. And after we measured, we are going to see what we call by psychotherapy approach. Psychotherapy approach are psychological techniques that are important to change negative thoughts to positive thoughts. And also, so in this case, we're talking about cognitive psychotherapy, okay? And on the other hand, we have also behavior psychotherapy. So, as most of the depression people or depressed people, they tend to isolate themselves. They have got some behaviors that occur very often. And behavior psychotherapy is important to change the routines of that person. And of course, we also have Gestalt therapy, that is a way of helping a person about his perception, the way he look at himself. So positive words are important, but of course, if we say just a positive words, if we say just think positive, it will not be enough. We must know the level of this depression. Because there are now so many guys, we're talking about coaches. There are so many coaches, even in our society here in Luanda, in Angola.
Daniel.
There are so
many
one of them,
coaches,
Daniel? There are so many coaches. And then these coaches, sometimes, they tell to depressed patients, like, think positive. If it better just you say, I will overcome this situation. And then they think that those magic words are enough. Those magic words like think positive.
So you mean saying think positive is not enough to heal someone that is depressed?
Of course,
okay.
Of course. First of all, we must know the level of it. Because me, as a
level of depression.
Okay. Disorder. Because as a clinical psychologist, I've assisted a patient one day that came at the first session of psychotherapy, and then she said that I have a friend who told me to looking for a coach. And then I said, come on, looking for a coach? Yeah, and then she said, yes, that friend of mine told me that in a week I will overcome my mental problem. So those magic meetings with the coaches can bring more mental problems.
Really?
Yes. Okay? Because nowadays, most of people, they have been like looking for magic solutions. Mm-hmm. They don't have patience. And then one of the things that we say in a psychotherapy process is that all psychotherapy process need time.
Okay.
A person must have a patience. It's not just one session, 2 sessions, 1 week that a person is going to feel himself healed.
Okay.
Need time. There are some patients that sometimes take 3 months, other takes 1 year. So it will always depend on the level of his mental problems. In this case, we're talking about depression disorder.
Okay.
When depression disorder, for example, is in a severe stage, a person may experiment what we call psychosis. Psychosis is one of mental problem where a person have a difficulty even to remember his name, to remember, for instance, where he's located, to remember his age. So he lose conscious. Okay, so this situation, we cannot say that during a week or 2 weeks it will be solved. No. And then population, everyone who are watching this live now, and for those who will be watching after, must pay attention that most of those coaches sometimes they are just there to steal your money. They are not there. They are not mental health professionals. Okay, some they just read some books, and some of them they have been reading psychological books. You know, they are not psychologists, but they read psychological books so that they can help some people. And then in our country, it happens very often because psychological order, Angolan psychological order doesn't work. You know, I have got a card from Angolan psychological card. Order, but I never had a chance, for instance, to sit with one of them saying, I'm asking myself, so how is going your profession? And then as they are not working, it means everything is allowed. You know, everything is allowed. They're not worried. Come coaches doing things, you know.
So you mean the association is not being helpful?
Of course, they are not working.
Oh,
they are not working, and it's illegal too.
It's not legal?
It's not legal.
The association is not legal?
It's not legal. Psychologist Association of Angola is not legal.
But are you
it exists.
You are one of the members.
I'm one of the members. I've got the card.
But the association is not legal.
It's not legal.
How come?
Yeah, it's not legal because there are some political issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that we can't mention here. It's not important to be mentioned here.
For sure.
But they are not working.
Okay.
They are not working. We know that they exist, but they're not working.
Who's the president?
Is Carlinhos Assala.
Oh yeah, and
he was my teacher.
He's called to be the father of psychology.
Not the father, but he was one of the founders.
One of the founders.
He's one of the founders of psychology because he has helped so much at psychology in our country, and he was my teacher.
Oh, okay.
Because I studied at Neto University.
Yeah.
Health Science Institute.
The institute.
Yes.
And where is it? Morabento?
Is that? Yeah, of course. Close to Padaria Nice.
Morabento before it's before Multiperfil.
Of course.
Yeah. Actually, it's opposite.
Yeah, the opposite.
It's opposite Nice.
Yes.
And behind Bai.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Daniel, you have to know Luanda, man. You need some classes on geography, man. Because he was telling you where he works for. Where do you work? Alpha.
Yeah, Alpha. Inside
Alpha. Alpha is after UGP.
Yes.
I might know, but
before big. Alpha, yes.
Okay.
It's before
my occasion.
Before big coming from Benfica.
Of course.
On the right side.
I might know that, but I have problem on fixing the
Maybe
name.
you have to. You're a teacher. One of the most difficult things to teach, I think, for me as a teacher, one of the most difficult things to teach in Angola is giving directions.
Of course.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Go straight on. Go straight on. Turn right. You will see an unfinished house there.
And I had also difficulties when you sent those pictures. The pictures that you sent me.
No, but well, this place you can't miss it because it's on the main road.
Yes.
The taxi drivers know that. Actually, this is called Pedro de Castro Van Duneloi.
Of course.
Yeah, it's very
known.
Very known.
And if you say like, what's this, Super Soba on Dom Miguel, by looking at the picture, you just show the picture to the taxi driver. So it's easy and you can't miss it.
Yes.
But places in Luanda, streets, they are named. I know where Street Commandante Ivadi is. I know where it is. Do you know where street Comandante Vade is? It's the street before Divina. The street which I usually enter.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I said my former house.
Yeah.
Yes, that street is called Comandante Vade. But let's say street Rua da Nkowal.
Okay.
If you say, where do you live? I live on Comandante Ivade Street. Where is it? Oh, okay, I live on Rua da Nkowal. Oh, yeah. Oh, why did you say Rua da Nkowal?
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah.
But I know, and this is
the
my...
names of most of our streets are unknown forever, are not known by everyone.
This
Yes.
avenue
This
is called...
causes a lot of difficult to people.
Of course,
Yes,
of course.
This avenue is called Pedro de Castro Van Dun Loy. But if you say I live on Pedro de Castro Van Dun Loy, people will ask you where it is.
Okay.
I live on Jolinda Rodrigues. But if you say, oh, where is it? Oh, okay, Estrada de Catet. Oh, everybody knows where it is. So, yes. I know the institute.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, I can say, hey Maria, hello everyone. Yes, hello everyone. This is Maria Gonçalves. Maria Gonçalves, hello everyone, tuned. Maria Gonçalves is also an English teacher and she's very regular.
Good.
Antonio Nzuzi Makiese Baloka, just on. Greetings. Hi Antonio. Well, if you've just joined us, this is Answer My Question, and Daniel wants people to see me. Okay, if you've just joined us, this is Answer My Questions with Dapher. I am the host, and Daniel is my technician. My guest for today's edition is Mário Vicente, who is a clinical psychologist. So he is here answering questions and also, answering your questions and also my questions on depression and also mental health. So if you've just joined us, this is the topic, because some of you might be wondering what the topic is. Actually, the topic is depression. And if you have questions on depression, questions on mental health, clinical psychology, you can write them down, and Daniel or me, maybe Daniel will read them and my guest will answer them. So Daniel, you said that you had some questions, yes?
Yes.
Over to you now. And there are also some questions. I saw like Mr. Candido's question.
Okay.
And also Reynaldo Batalha's comment is, this podcast is worth watching. Very interesting topic. And Kapenda Njila's question is, how can we discover that someone is depressed?
Yes. As I said before, it's very difficult, but there are some signs or some symptoms. A person sometimes, I don't know in which, I don't know if he found us live already, the guy, or he was in the beginning.
Let me see how.
Because we spoke already some signs and some symptoms of depression. But
15 minutes.
yes, but
It's been viewing us for 15 minutes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so it was not yet.
yeah. So there are some signs and some symptoms. A person sometimes isolates himself. There are some people that lose appetite while others eat too much. There are some that feel themselves down. There are others that they have some difficulties. Let's suppose to wake up is a big. As usual, wake up is a normal task, and it's not a task at all. But when we come to a depressed person, sometimes they have got difficulties even to wake up, to do house activities or household activities, like cooking, those activities that they used to do and that created joy or happiness. while they are going to face depression disorder, those activities are going to lose their meanings. You know, let's suppose you are a guy that loves going to play football. If you're facing depression disorder, this sense of playing football, the meaning of going to play football is going to decrease. So you will feel yourself like not willing to go to play. Not only going to play, let's suppose also going to see a friend. A friend might call you and say, "Come on, let's relax, let's take a walk," and then you always create excuses just to escape from it. And then there are some signs of depression. And of course, one of the main components as a sign of depression is deep sadness. Deep sadness, but of course we have to pay attention that sadness is just one of the components of depression. Itself, sadness, as I said before, is not enough to say that it's depression, because depression is a disorder, a mental disorder. And then we have also lack of meaningful life. If you are a healthy person, I know that the way you look at yourself is positive, okay? Sometimes you may have down moments. Sometimes you feel yourself down, okay? It's very common. But you must pay attention to what is occurring that put yourself down, okay? If sometimes you don't understand why you're feeling down, why your self-esteem is going down, why you're not believing in yourself, in your skills, why you have no will to fight for your goals, to achieve your goals. Sometimes you are a guy that starts a task, but after 1 or 2 minutes, or even 5 minutes, 1 hour, 2 days, you give up from it. It can be a stage of depression, but it itself is not depression, but it can be one of the signals. And then it's always important to know what is occurring in my mind. Why am I behaving this way? And it's important that you may sometimes have or take 1 hour or at least half minutes to stay alone, you know, to stay alone, like think about yourself. And as we are always running after our food, as I said before, we're always fighting for food here in our country. It's really difficult to find those moments that we pay attention to our inner conflicts. You know, we have got some inner conflicts. We have got some. Sometimes we worry about some things perhaps that we are fighting for, something that we didn't achieve, and we just ignore. But we don't know that there are some inner conflicts or psychological conflicts that are unconscious. Reason why even psychologists, they also start psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is an area in psychology that studies the unconscious. I mean, unconsciously, it's like some behavior, we don't know why they are shown. I mean, sometimes you behave in a way that you don't understand. It means 90% of our behavior occurs unconsciously. You know, sometimes you do something and you wonder why you did it. You know, and then it's to say that we need time, to look at ourselves, to think a bit about our life, and of course, being honest with ourselves whenever we're trying to solve psychological problems, and we have done much, but we didn't accomplish it. It's a case to say that we must be honest to looking for help. And mental professionals like psychologists or clinical psychologists or psychiatrists, they work in a private sector and also in public. So, for instance, here in Luanda, the place now where this life is occurring, is taking place. we have public places where whenever you're feeling bad, whenever you're feeling an emotional problems or situation, you may go just to be assisted, okay? And then, sorry, it's a case also to say that some people, they are always trying to say, trying like to lie themselves. It's like a person knows that something wrong is occurring with him, but he ignores it. He says, no, it's a normal, I'm feeling this way, sooner or later I will face it, it will disappear. But that is to say that when you don't solve any emotional problems or psychological problems, it can be severe, okay? And then whenever you're facing a mental problem, and better you're looking for help. Don't hide yourself. Unfortunately, we still think that we have just to look for a psychologist when we get mad. And some people use it for jokes. They say like, come on, you're looking for a psychologist, are you mad? Are you crazy? You know, and then those words like crazy, are you mad, like insane, those expressions, they are negative expressions. And then some people, they don't looking for a psychologist not because they don't want, but because they fear about social comments that they are going to receive if they say to someone that they were with a psychologist. And then don't be ashamed, okay? Don't be ashamed. I mean, you have to be worried about yourself. And then some or most of the mental problems that are not solved, they are going to bring physical problems. Because we have something that we call by, I mean, in Portuguese it's easier to say, but I won't say that in Portuguese. But it's just to say that nowadays we have many people that sometimes go to hospital, and the doctors, they make medicines assessments, and they say, no, madam, you have nothing. You're fine. But the person himself feel like bad, you know. And then this is a point where some people feel like there's a black magic inside. No, there's not a black magic inside. Sometimes you have got a mental problems, okay, that you have been ignored for so long, you didn't look for help, and then it is going to be changed to some physical problem, okay? You might sometimes feeling headache, you might sometimes feeling some any physical problems, okay? And then that is to say that we can't ignore, because when the World Health Organization talks about what health is, they talk about is being socially well, is being organically well, and it's also being spiritually well, and is also being psychologically well. So they say that being health is a general state, and then you cannot say I'm healthy when you have got any mental problems to be solved. You cannot say I'm healthy when mentally you're healthy but physically you're not healthy. Let's suppose you have a bad conditions of living. You cannot say you're healthy. Something is missing, you know. And then we have to say that healthy is a condition that we have to look for every day. It's not something that we catch it forever. It's something that every day we have to fight for it, okay? But we have to be honest with ourselves. I think I've spoken enough.
Daniel?
Yes.
You have said that poverty can lead us also for psychological, so for depression.
Yes.
Can lead us to depression.
Yes.
In a specific case.
Yes.
I would like to know, as a psychological, as a clinical psychologist,
Yes.
how would you help someone who has been hunting for a job for ages and get depressed?
Okay.
How would you help him?
Yes.
Okay.
for being honest, I've received many people who need help. And then sometimes those people, they don't have even money to pay for sessions, psychotherapy sessions, you know. They have no money to pay. And then we know that in the psychology, money is important, not for psychologists, but also in the process of psychotherapy, money is important because it's going also to help the process itself. When we come to a patient that is jobless and then comes to ask us help, what we have, what exactly we as psychologists do is trying to look for every, we have to be sure that the person has already done enough. Like, so he can say, for instance, I'm jobless. They're about 2 months or 1 year, and then we have to know how he have been looking for a job. Sometimes we see that some people are just jobless because they have difficulties even to write their resume. You know, some people, they have got difficulties to find a job because they don't look for the right places. They don't talk to the right person. And then as a psychologist, I go this way, trying to know the history. The history is very important, okay? And we see that at this case, jobless itself is not a psychological problem, but of course, it can lead to any mental problem. And then this is the point. To know how he has been looking for, what steps he has been taking just to find job. And then psychologists cannot say, I have a job for you, okay? Because that is not his role as a professional. But he has to show ways or possible ways so that the patient himself can find a job. This is what we do.
How would I know that I'm talking to the right person or wrong person when it comes for looking for a job?
So at first you have to know what kind of jobs you want. This is the point. And we know nowadays most of people who are working, who have a job, they some of them or most of them, they didn't find they found a job by interacting with others. It's like nowadays we call it by networking. You see, it's like you don't find you can have a resume taken to a company, but if you don't know anyone inside that company, it will be difficult, and someone is going to put your resume on the rubbish. And then you have to talk to the right person. It means you must have a friend, or at least someone that knows another people that can help you. So at this case, we're talking about right person. Of course, it can take so long sometimes. And then we, as a psychologist, we also try to going deeper, like asking if that person that is in front of us that needs our help, if besides looking for a job, if he can do something, if he can create his own job. Because sometimes we just think that the only way to work is inside a company. But sometimes we have difficulties to see our skills. And then a reason why, even in psychology, we have got an area called by vocational psychology, or vocational area, which we put or we assess psychologically a person according, the aim of that psychological assessment is to know his skills or abilities. And then according to those abilities, we can find out after that a person himself is able or capable enough to create his own job. And of course, we are going to help him trying to know or to understand if he can receive some money, like from someone, if he can lend money from someone to create his own job. I mean, psychologist is like a light that guides a person. He's not a person that tell what, I mean, he's not a professional that tell what we as a population have to do, but as a mental professional, is someone that guide us. It's like a guider. It's not. It's a light. You know. Yeah, that is what I have to say about.
Some people, in brackets, patient, resist to seeing a doctor because they don't believe that they are sick. How should we deal with this situation? This is Mr. Zan's candidate's question.
Okay. Wait. Resistance is one of the difficulties that most of psychologists find or face while they are working in a private practice, even in a public practice. Well, according to my experience as a clinical psychologist, I've received many patients, mainly those who are addicted to alcohol, mainly those who are depressed, mostly in severe depression. They have got a difficulty to accept that they are sick, okay? And most of those people, they have got what we call by rational mechanism. Rational mechanism is like a cognitive development ideas that I don't need help from anyone, and most of those patients are very clever, and that is to say that the most you get smart, the most you might be thinking. When you be facing any emotional problems, you are going to think that you don't need a professional help. But that is to say that in this case, family are important, and we as a psychologist, we work not only with a patient, but also with a family. And then most of those patients, they don't come alone, okay? They don't come alone to be assisted. Most of the times, they come with, let's suppose, a friend, a wife, a girl, you know, a family member. And then a family member, most of the time, is the first one that gets inside the office, you know, because when we call the patient, so he sits on chair, sometimes he says, I have nothing to say. You have nothing to say. My cousin, my wife, my girlfriend, my wife is the one that thinks that I have got a mental problem. And then we start by creating what we call by therapy connection. It's like we must create a space where this person feels himself free to speak about anything, okay? And then we have to bring that it's possible to face a problem, okay? To face that problem. And of course, we can't lie to the patient. We have to say that it can take long time, but it's possible. But to be possible, solving that problem, we need his participation. We need also to say that at this case, families, they cannot abandon a patient. Although he's resistant to looking for help, even to finish the therapy process, family must be there, cannot judge. They must see, they must pay attention, and always remember that if someone is resistant to looking for help, it's not something that is doing for own purpose. It's not something that is doing because he wants, but is one of the signs inside the mental problems he's facing. And then we have been saying that inside the psychotherapy process, love is one of the steps to heal mental problems. In a psychological perspective, love that starts inside family members, that's connections. You know, yeah, I think that's the point.
Okay. How to overcome the death of a loved one?
That's Mario Geronimo's question.
Okay. Okay. Well, how to overcome? As I said before, we have got a grief that is a normal process that we have to face when we lost someone very special. Okay. Sometimes we have been saying that a person that has lost someone very important cannot cry. Okay, we have been listening about cannot cry. Life, I mean, such is life. Those are, I mean, that is the word that we have been, all sentences that we have been listening about. And we have to pay attention that most of those words, they are important. Sometimes they can bring some comfort to a person that is facing grief. Okay? But saying to someone that he can't cry, that he can be down, that will not help. Okay? And then a grief is a normal process. It can take at least 3 months. Okay? If after 3 months a person continue thinking about the dead one, and then we can think that perhaps a depression disorder or another kind of mental problems is starting. I had a patient, of course, as a clinical psychologist, I'm not allowed, because we have got some professional rules, but I can say something here just to put you understand.
Yeah, you can't say the name of the person,
of course,
of the patient.
Of course, according to our professional rules.
Actually, not only for you as a psychologist.
Yes.
Even me as an English teacher.
Of course.
If one of my students is having problems in the classroom, I cannot expose her problems or her name.
Of course.
Yeah, I can say I have a student who had this the same challenges or the same difficulties.
Of course.
Yeah, but I cannot say I had a student called Daniel, I had a student called Mario, we couldn't pronounce these words.
Yes. Yes, and then I had a patient. She lost her grandmother, and it was it took at least four months. But even that time was not enough to lead with this grief, and then she had a difficulty even as she was living with her grandmother. She had a difficulty to sleep, to sleep well, to continue her routine, because she was so close to her grandmother. And I had also one that even after 1 month, or even after 1 year, she had most of the time she used to visit the cemetery, to see her father. And to see her father, she still believed that her father could back life. If after 1 year, or at least after 6 months, or after 3 months, a person has got a difficulty to believe or to understand that the loved one, will not come back anymore. And then we have to realize that perhaps that's not a normal grief process. That's an abnormal grief process. And the only way that we have to help that person is looking for professional mental health. That's the only way. Okay? That's the only way. But of course, and I've been always repeating these sentences, do not judge, okay? Because most of people, when they are judged, they feel themselves lost. They feel like not understood. And when we listen to someone that has committed a suicide, it's one of the reasons is because everyone most of the time judge him, And then we have to stop judging whenever someone is facing an emotional problem.
Okay, Daniel, are there some other questions or comments?
In case we're living with people, parents, relatives that don't know anything about depression, and they have someone closer to them that are having this kind of problem, how will they solve or help these persons close to them that is having a sort of problem?
Yes, as I said before, we have to fortify our bonds of affections. Unfortunately, the basic of our families are broken. The relations of most of our Angolans family, in general, are broken, and then it should be the first one, the first point. Okay, the first point, because love can heal so many emotional problems. Love, you're facing a problem, and then your father, your brother comes, hugs you, he asks you, so what's wrong? I'm here for you. You're not fighting this problem alone, okay? We together. So those sentences or those words, they can be seen like a normal sentences. So before we were talking about positive words. Yeah. So those words, they can be seen just as normal words, but they are very important to someone that is facing any kind of emotional problems. And of course, whenever we see that the emotional problems that our loved ones is facing is affecting negatively his life, we have to look for help. And unfortunately, what we see in our country is that before a person looking for a psychologist, he goes to church. Before a person looking for a psychologist, he goes to traditional houses, And then a time that a person is going to be praying, a time that a person is going to be in a traditional houses, the mental problems is going to become severe. And then we have got psychiatry of Luanda. Most of the patients that we find there, if we see their history, we're going to see that they, before going there, they went so many places. They drank so many things to solve their emotional or mental problems. And then that is to say that most of mental problems or mental psychological conflicts can be solved. Okay, can be solved. But families, they have to be honest. They have to be honest. Of course, we also believe that as African, we believe, of course, we cannot ignore it, that there are also spiritual stuff that sometimes cause some mental problems. But before you think about this, at better, you're looking for mental health professionals. For instance, me, I didn't start 4 or 5 years just for free, And then a person that has studied psychology during 4 or 5 years, so you're going to say that this guy has nothing to help me. So this is the belief that most of us have. But this belief we don't have to someone who is taking nursing course. This belief we don't have with someone who is taking medicine course. Why we just have this belief with someone who has taken psychological or psychology course? Why? And then, so we have to be honest. We have to be open. Okay, we can't be shy about every social, every courses are important. When we talk about health, we know that psychology has much to do, psychiatrist has much to do, but we see that there are so many professionals in health that they have to work together. You cannot only think that a doctor in a medicine is the one that has to help solve my problem. There are so many others professionals that are there. They have studied to help you, okay? And then you must be open, because whenever you feel yourself closed, it's a way so that many other problems, mental health problems, may take a part.
So this means that when you are feeling like you are being depressed, you'd better not feel isolated. You
Yes.
better not be alone.
Yes.
You should look for
Help.
For help.
Yeah, but before, has to talk with someone, family member.
Okay.
Let's suppose you have a friend, a close friend. Call him. Say, I'm facing this problem. And then some people, they don't talk to their friends.
Okay.
Because we have also what we call gossip, right? Some people,
Yeah,
if you tell a secret to someone, that person is going to tell to another person, and you wake up in the morning, everyone knows
Everybody
about
knows
your problems. That's the problem.
Okay.
And then if you see that you don't trust anyone, and better you're looking for a psychologist.
Okay.
When you're looking for a psychologist, try to understand. Try to pay attention. Okay. Try to pay attention that that professional is really professional.
Can you check this
Try
out?
to understand.
It's good.
That
Okay, that's good.
I'm going to repeat. Okay. When you're looking for a psychologist, ask him his cards, professional cards. Because some people, they are not psychologists. Okay? You are free to ask. If you are going to pay, even if you're not going to pay, mainly if you're going to a public institution of health, ask to the professional for these simple questions. How long have you been working as a clinical psychologist or as a psychologist? What kind of techniques do you use to help people? How do you think you're going to help me? Are you sure that you're not going to share the information that we're going to take? The information from here, you're not going to share with another people? Are you really sure about this? Then you must create an agreement with that professional. And of course, if one day you listen your name and other private information about you that professional has published, you're free to go to sue him. Of course.
You can sue him.
Of course. You're free. Okay? Yeah. To punish him. You're
right.
free.
The problem is, where's the problem? This is, hello, Joanna Arnaldo. Joanna Arnaldo is an English teacher, actually an English lecturer. He works for the Kwanzaa North Pedagogical Higher Institute. No, higher school. Yes, Joanna. Mental health is very important. That is why I don't push too much some people, because I don't know how is their minds or emotions. Joanna Arnaldo's comments. Her second comment, or one more comment coming from her, is the problem is that people are not open to ask for help.
Yeah.
So this is one of the problems.
Yes.
You want to help,
Yeah.
but the thing is that some people are not open to ask for help.
Yeah.
All right. So is it true that some people are not open to ask for help?
Yes. Some people are not open.
Now, what prevents them from not looking for help?
Is some people have been heard about history from another people that have been looking for a psychologist.
Okay.
And then those experiences, they also think that they are going to face if they're looking for a psychologist. You know, then that is to say that if someone, for instance, had looking for a psychologist and things didn't work out, it doesn't mean that with you the experience is going to be the same. You have to feel that there are bad psychologists, there are good psychologists, as there are good doctors in medicine and there are bad doctors in medicine. So many areas, you know. And then you free if you start being assisted by a psychologist, and you don't feel yourself like confident. You feel yourself like this process will not work out. You are free to give up. You just tell him, I'm not confident enough to keep on with you, and then at better we stop from here. And then you're looking for another psychologist. But if any experiences didn't work out with you, do not publish. Do not say to everyone like psychologists, they don't help.
Okay.
Do not say like.
So you shouldn't generalize.
Yeah,
things.
generalize. Yeah, you can't. You can't do it. You know, because that's your experience. While others may face or experiment new experience, and then that's the point.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having explained everything. I think I saw a comment coming from one of the viewers who said, "Thank you for the clarification." I can't find who it was, but it's written there. One of the viewers said that he was thankful for your clarification. We're about to say goodbye. It's been, I think, an hour and some minutes.
Yeah, 35.
An hour and 35 minutes, yes.
Yeah.
So that answer my questions usually last for an hour and 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Okay.
Or sometimes 45 minutes.
Yes.
We don't like going up to 2 hours.
Okay.
You know how
Yes.
connection is in Angola.
Of course.
And some people, I'm sorry, but I have to say this. Some people come to view, answer my questions, not to get the content. Some people are not worried about what the guest is saying, but they are worried about the guest's accent.
Okay.
The guest pronunciation.
Good.
See? And I saw a comment coming from Reynaldo saying that this edition is worth it watching. He found it interesting.
Okay.
And there are, how many people are there viewing us, Daniel? I think 9 or 10?
8.
8, yes. So there were 19 people viewing us. Now we are finishing with 8 people, and that's really nice for us. So we are pleased that you are on the other side, and I hope that our guest was clear enough to answer your questions, and also to talk about depression. So are there
Yes.
are there something that you would like to add?
Yes.
You
Yes.
got the question, Daniel. Are there some? Is there? Actually, I want to
Is
say,
there?
are there some more comments? Yeah,
Of-
but actually
of
now,
course.
Is there something that you would like to add?
Of course. Mental problems are real, are not fake. It's important to say. And there are also solutions. And psychologists or psychotherapists or mental health professionals, they don't work alone. They always work with other mental health or other health professionals. And that's also to say that a family must be there to help. And sometimes it's like a teacher. Sometimes receive a student from his father. Father thinks that a teacher is going to do everything, and then that's to say that even in a mental health process or psychotherapy, we need that the family must be there to work with us. Okay, not only the patient himself, because we know or we understand that some of mental problems starts or begins inside of what we call by family system. Perhaps a family member starts doing something, and that problem is going to affect other people. And then in this case, sometimes what we do is a family therapy. Sometimes we bring the family an office so that they can be assisted. Then that's to say that depression is real. Okay, depression is real. Depression disorder is real. And then be open. If you're facing any emotional problems, do not hide yourself. Okay? Looking for someone that you trust, someone that you can be open to. Okay? And thank you so much for being there. And I hope to talk to you very soon.
Okay, good. Before we say goodbye, did you answer this question? But I think you did. A question, well, first, Joanna, not first, but her last comment was good. Yeah, it was good to view this edition. But 8 minutes ago, she commented, but did you answer this question? How can we identify people who need mental health?
How to identify?
Oh, yeah, how can we identify people who need mental help?
Okay.
Or who are going through mental health problems?
Okay. Just
Daniel?
Yeah. Mr. Daniel just
Did you
I think I didn't.
How can we identify people
Yes.
who need mental help?
Okay. So there are so many mental disorders. So many mental disorders. Let's start for a very common one is anxiety. Okay? Anxiety. It's very normal to be anxious about something, but when you worry too much about something, you're already thinking about future things that you're going to achieve. It's uncommon, and it's something that in psychology, psychologists they can also help. Okay, and sometimes people get panic sometimes when they face anxiety itself, and then sometimes psychologists they are, as I said before, they are not going to work alone. They always are going to work with another mental professional or health professionals. But that is to say that there are so many books that you can read about mental health. Of course, as I said, psychopathology is the area that's said about the abnormal functions of the mind and also about the body. And then sometimes it takes 1 year. Okay, it takes sometimes 1 year or 2 years to be understood. Okay, I'm talking about psychopathology, but you will always see some signs. Sometimes people will always show some behaviors, some weird or strange behaviors, and then you will always see something. Okay, and perhaps a person is also going to tell you something, and then you must pay attention, and then it means it's important to be close to a person. It's important to know a person, first of all, so that according to time you can see, okay, this guy very often he doesn't behave this way. Okay, and then if he's behaving, if he's speaking this way, perhaps something wrong must be occurring with him. Okay, and then so there are so many ways. Then there are so many books about psychology or psychopathology. This is the subject that you can see. You can read a bit about insomnia. You can read about anxiety. You can read about depression. You can also read about mania. Okay, mania is a pathological joy. Let's suppose you smiling anyhow. There is no reason why you are happy. Okay, and then so there are also some pathologies about this case. There are so many psychopathologies, and I think time is not enough to speak about it. But as I said it before, pay attention to a person that is close to you. Okay, be more open and give yourself for others. Say, I'm here for you. You can count on me whenever you want. You'll see that whenever a person is in need to be helped, he will be there to take out most of the problems he has. And then you'll see options to help him if you can, or you can go with him to looking for a mental health professionals.
Thank you so much. Well, we learn every day. We learn from the comments, and we also learn from our guests. And today's edition was one of those editions that we learn a lot, like the previous one where we've been learning a lot. I don't. Have we ever heard? Have we ever interviewed someone who didn't teach anything here? Where we can say no, we didn't get anything from that guest. Really, Daniel? No. So we know that every edition is different, but they are all the same. Let's say some may be higher, some lower, but they are all the same in terms of knowledge. So when we choose someone to come and answer your questions and also ours, we want them to teach something. We have never met, both Daniel and I have never met Mário Vicente. Today was the first day that we met. We've never met.
Yes.
We met on Facebook. He sent me a PM after seeing my post on my late former colleague, Antonio Carvalho, who committed suicide last Monday. Yeah, almost a week. He'll be turning 1 week tomorrow. So he was going through depression. He was depressed, and actually very few people got to know about it. And he decided to commit suicide by, where did it go? You can't imagine. I saw the videos and I was crying. The videos and also pictures. He was passed over by a train. Can you imagine that? Passed over by a train. Yeah. He sat and he threw himself on the train rail. And the train passed over him. He was coming from home and he was well dressed. Everybody knew that he was going to work. But I heard that he wrote. I'm going to get more detail today because some of my former colleagues went there today. I think 2 or 3 former colleagues went to the place where he used to live. Yeah. So he went to the place where he wanted to live and talked to the family, and I think offered some help. When Mario saw that post, he sent me a PM saying, "I've just seen your post on the death of one of your former colleagues, and I also realized that he was depressed. So I'd like to talk about this issue, this topic, which is depression." So you can also, if you think there's something which is, let's say, current affairs, something which is happening right now, and you would like to come and share here, why not? You can PM us. You can talk to Daniel, or you can talk to me through the page. We will have you here, and you will answer our questions like what Mario did. So thank you so much, Mário Vicente, for having come to answer my questions and answer our questions. You don't need to mention it. Okay. So thank you for being on the other side. Thank you for spending your data with us, and we hope Daniel and I hope to see you next edition. Tata for today.